let's spend about 5 minutes talking about Wilfred Owen's Oh, How Sweet It Is. So this poem is one of the war poets' poems. It's written about World War I. Wilfred Owen was a soldier on the battlefield for England in World War I. He was wounded. He spent some time in a military hospital. He returned to the battlefield and he died at the very young age of 25 when he saw the horrors of war. And he had a problem with all the people who pay lip service to the brave soldiers, all these young men who saw the horrors of war. He was resentful of the people who sat back at home and sort of said, "Oh, you're so brave. I'll say a prayer for you," that sort of thing. Uh, he saw the terrors that, and he could never get over that, and that's what he wanted to share in his poetry. So I'm going to jump all the way down to the end, so that you can see this. He speaks directly to his reader. My friend, you would not tell with such high zest to children ardent for some desperate glory the old lie, oh, how sweet it is to die for your country. That's essentially it. So he's confronting those people that are home because, they're the people that send children off to war. And by children, he means the young men that, get pumped up to serve their country. And they're desperate for glory in this case. Saying those, in the United States, we had Uncle Sam, I want you, and there was this very proud sort of idea of young men going off to fight the wars. And in England, they had the same sort of ethos. And Wilfred Owen is pushing back against that. So now let's look at some of the vivid imagery in this poem, because sometimes that's what it takes, hearing other people bring it out in order to really grasp it. So, for instance, these soldiers, instead of standing tall and proud like at a parade, he shows us men who are like old beggars in torn up clothing, and that they are, kind of crouched over and coughing as they walk through this deep, thick mud. They lost their boots. I think that's worth noting too. It's probably freezing cold in the winter in England. They're taking part in trench warfare, and they're drunk with fatigue, meaning that these men have probably been up for days. They haven't been able to sleep. They've been marching. It's freezing cold. Some of them don't have boots. They're pictured not as noble, upstanding soldiers, but rather as men who are haggard and broken down. And then things change. We get an adrenaline rush here. Some mustard gas comes their way, and this is incredibly frightening. World War I was the first time we used mustard gas. And so just imagine what it's like trying to use your hands when it's cold, if you've ever been up north, to just do something simple like open your wallet and get your credit card out. Well, these guys had to get rudimentary gas masks on before the gas filled their lungs. And that's where we get this idea of a man stumbling and floundering like a fish out of water, in this case, like a man on fire. And the gas, we see it as a green sea and somebody drowning in it. And then we get this nightmare vision that you've probably seen many times on a show like The Walking Dead. Just think about those zombies gurgling and grabbing at people. That's the image Wilfred Owen is trying to share with us here. Somebody choking on their own blood as it fills their lungs. Now, the word wagon probably doesn't mean too much to you because your entire life you've had the automobile and the roadways have been filled with cars that drive 60 miles an hour. Well, back in World War I, horses pulled wagons to the battlefield. So just imagine a wagon full of dead bodies, or else of young men still choking and gurgling the blood and pus in their lungs after having breathed in the mustard gas. Just imagine the horror of how slow a wagon moves behind a horse, and how painful it would be to watch your friends and your fellow soldiers die that way. And so that's how we get to this, is that, all day long, Wilfred Owen is saying all day long, you can say it's glorious and great and noble to die for your country, but until you see it, you don't really know just how horrible that fate is. So there you have it, not incredibly profound. I just wanted to bring out some of the most powerful images in this poem, and hopefully that will help you understand it a little better.